Hi, everybody. James from Baltimore here again. I have a testimony. Many of my testimonies will come. I'll ensure you that I'm more than just a walking testimony, but this is probably one of the greatest. I wouldn't say the greatest. Well, yeah, maybe it is. In my opinion, it's one of the greatest testimonies that I've had of mine. Um, anyhow, because of love. I went to a vocational school here in Baltimore. Coming from the Eastern Shore, when I went to Eastern Shore, I was there for 4 years. Um, I was a foster child at that moment. I was awarded a state when I was about 10 and a half, 11 years old. My mother signed her parental rights away. Lord bless her soul, she has passed away back in 2014. Um, anyhow, I graduated high school in 2002. Came back to Baltimore, went to vocational high school, no, I'm sorry, vocational college or tech school, whatever you want to call it. And I was taking a course called, not called, but upholstery. And, I tried recording this a couple times because I want to be a little bit fancy, make it look good. But you know what? No. If I mess up a couple times, bear with me. I'm not going to stop recording. Um, Not for your clout or not for, you know, I just figured I'd let you know about testimony. And if it touches you, even a part if it touches you, then you know what? The Lord's moving on you. He's moving through you. Holy Spirit. So I will have to say this much that when I came back to Baltimore, after being from Baltimore, living in Baltimore, but staying on Eastern Shore for all that time I did as a child and going through the systems and the ringers and all that stuff. I mean, we'll get to that another day, but I'm gonna tell you about the testimony that I want to talk about right now. I met this angel one time when I was going to that vocational school. I used to play. I used to play chess out in the courtyard. Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes too. So, but they had a courtyard in the center of the place, and one night I got up and went out to smoke and play some chess. And I went out to the courtyard, and I heard this voice, and I looked over and I was like, "Holy God!" A beautiful blonde-haired, brown-eyed angel. I saw her and I was like, "Oh my God, she's got to be mine. I just got to have her." Something came over me. It was just them eyes. I saw them beautiful brown eyes, and I was like, "Wow!" I just felt, I felt the emotions come over me. I was like, "Oh my goodness." Anyhow, I approached my friends that was talking to her, and because they were eye oogling and goggling over her and whatnot. But I told her, I said, "How you doing?" And kind of like pulled out the Rique Suave kind of thing, when move in and do a little bit of move, but I didn't approach too hard at that moment. And if I get a little bit emotional in this, please bear with me. Sometimes the eagles fly high and they got a perch, but I'm gonna tell you, I got emotions. Um, get to the point here. I started talking to her, rapping to her, and all that, and I was like, I like you. And she said, "I like you too." Her name was Rachel, and I was like, "Okay." Rachel Bowl. Rachel Bowl was her name, and I was like, "All right." Within the matter of this 12 hours of knowing her, something came over me. Like love at first sight, right? I was so young, I was 18, right? Just turned 18 out of high school, and I was like, you know what? I'm going in for the kill real quick, because I didn't know if I would ever see her again. Because people used to come for orientations and they come and go. But I wasn't trying to let her slip through my fingers. And I was like, you know what? Not happening today. And I went to my mom. She had an heirloom wedding set. Imagine that. Within 12 hours. And this is crazy. It's going to say, some people say, wow, he did what? Did what? I came back to school. I got down on my knee real quick. And I was like, you know what? I said, you're gorgeous. I said, I don't want to let you go. I said, will you marry me? Out of nowhere. I said, will you marry me? And she said, yeah. And I was like, holy crap. Thank God. I said, wow. So, her mom came one day and she was talking to her mom, and her mom was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about him. But, the look on the face of her mom was like, wow, that's crazy. Let's give it up. Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. I gotta keep going. Okay. So anyhow, I got to know her for a little while there, and things are moving real quick with her. It was like lightning quick. I'm like, bam, baby. We started hanging out with some people, friends of ours. Taking rides here. Got a little bit interesting though. Nothing physical yet at this moment, but damn, I wanted too bad, but I didn't. It was a point where a little while went by. I'd say, man, a month or two, three. I mean, not even three. About a month. Not even a month. And we're getting our own place. I mean, we're on a way to get our own place. I mean, she went away after a little while because of the orientation, but then I kept in contact with her. She had to get the ring size because my mom's ring set was a little bit big. She got small finger, like a little size 5. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, um, she and I, you know, got involved. And I was working at a place called Hoffman Canvas Products on Gutman Avenue in Baltimore. The class that I went to eventually shut down after 6 months. I was taking upholstery. Couldn't find a teacher, nothing. The whole time I was thinking about her though. And I'll tell you, she came back to me, and I think she was starting to take something or the orientation when she left, but she came back, and she and I got together. And I'll tell you what, we got our first place. It was in Ramsey Street in Baltimore City, Southwest Baltimore. Wasn't the best at all. No, that place wasn't the best at all. So we stuck around. I was still working off from Canvas Products, and you know what? We moved above my parents over in Dundalk, a place called Colgate. 52nd Golf was the location at that particular time, and I think it hit on pretty well. I've actually lost my job off from Canvas Products. I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't pay attention. Mostly because well, the fact is that I was love struck, and I wouldn't pay attention. You know, I would take in. I was a sewing machine operator, and I was sewing hearts into people's products, like the canvases and the awning. I mean, just sewing hearts into it, and I couldn't stay awake at the sewing machine. So I eventually got laid off, not fired. But anyhow, I went a little while there trying to search for a job. I ended up landing a job at Burger King, making about say 5.30 an hour, bi-weekly, $5.30 an hour bi-weekly. Yeah, I said that, and I started get involved with it, and at that point we were moved in, and guess what? We had a baby on the way. we had a baby on the way. It was so we ended up getting married, and this was about the year of 2003, and by the justice of peace, something quick. But I will tell you, the first time I met her father, she and I was walking out of a Sheraton in Baltimore City, and her father was a chauffeur. A chauffeur. He did driving. His name was Larry. Big old beast guy. Man, this guy was huge. I don't know, gonna lie. He was a big boy. And I was like, I walked out and I was like, I saw him standing there waiting for somebody, and her jaw just like hit, and like the look on her face. I was like, "What's the matter?" She said, "That's my father." I said, "Oh my God, it's your father." Well, oh man, that was something. Oh man, this thing's. But so anyhow, we stayed at the first location at in Colgate, and I was like, I had the job at Burger King. That didn't happen to. I had an employer named like Kevin. Man, he got on my nerves. Oh, he pressed me hard, and I was like, I'm not having this. I literally jerked his arm out of his socket because he came at me. He pissed me off. I'm very pardon my language, but he pissed me off. Would not leave me alone. You know what happens when somebody keeps poking a bear? Eventually, a bear rips them apart. You know what I'm saying? But I was sitting there under stress. I had a bi-weekly job, I think it was 5:30 an hour. I might have said 5:30, whatever. It's been so many years. But anyhow, I lost that job there. I walked away, and I started working at a 7-Eleven. I did the graveyard shift at 7-Eleven, right? About a month or so. I mean, when you wake up and you see the sun in the morning, or when you're awake and you see the sun in the morning, it's kind of hard to fall back asleep. So that didn't work out. And more than a couple coffee pots did I break because I was so tired, especially after doing CDC orders and pretty much, how can I say it? Uh, you know, dealing with the rush in the morning, you know, people coming in, morning rush and all that stuff. And at that particular time, I was riding a bike to get to work and all that. So anyhow, I got a lucky break there for a while there, and she and I with the first place, we started to take and move stuff in, but there was a Goodwill on Eastern Avenue across from the East Point Mall. It's probably gonna East Point Mall. They're getting ready to tear that down anyways. But at one particular time, there was a place called East Point Mall in Dundalk, area code 21224. Anyhow, well, I used to take and people used to put their furniture out there, like couches and all that. I carried every piece of my furniture from the Goodwill that people left outside of the Goodwill. They just leave it. So you're welcome, Goodwill. I helped you with a lot of heavy lifting, and if you want, I would love to have a job. Thanks. Anyhow, let's see. No, just kidding. um, I'm probably one of your best employees. I helped you with a lot of heavy lifting, Goodwill. Okay. Anyhow, one time I was carrying a three-seating couch. I mean, a three-seater couch, right? On my back and shoulders. And I carried it about a mile from the Goodwill to my house, up the steps to the second floor by myself. Maybe took me about 15, 20 minutes to get that there, to the house. I was tired, but I was young. Anyhow, this gentleman, Larry Zanino at Zanino's Catering, he saw me carrying it, and he's like, wow. He said, where are you carrying that from? I said, well, the Goodwill. He said, how would you like a job? I was like, I would love a job. Boom. The Lord answered again, gave me a job. So I became working at a catering business, Zanino's Catering. When I started as a dishwasher. I did a dishwasher for about a year. And I did, all the orders, put them away, stomp down their trash to save them money, etc. Blah, 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 whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, as I did that, of course, our first kid, he was born, little James Jr., namesake, my little James David Nowicki Jr., my baby. And, so, we're, doing all right and all that. And, of course, we have him. And, after 9 months, he had a surgical problem, that had occurred with his head. It was called craniosynostosis. And we actually took him to Johns Hopkins, downtown Jayhawk. World-renowned surgeon Dr. Benjamin Carson did surgery on his head, the one separated the Siamese conjoined twins and all that other stuff. Real famous doctor at that particular time. You may also know him as a candidate or someone who ran for president as well. I think it was 2016 he ran or something like that. I may be a little bit off in the years. Anyhow, he and several people did surgery on my kid, on little James. Keratosis is development of a forehead that anomaly that structures itself and prematurely closes the frontal lobe or plates of the head, causing pressure and making a pear-shaped appearance because of the pressure. Now, when babies are born, they usually have soft spots. They're left open, and they eventually close and expand. That's why they have soft spots. So if you knock on your head, right? And you're like, oh, that heart thing is called your skeleton or your cranium, and inside of here are two plates that are fused together when you get older, and they're locked in. It protects your brain. Anyhow, his closed prematurely, and it happens once out of every family. I think it's hundred thousands or whatever. I mean, it's pretty rare. Anyhow, he had the surgery. He's Lord bless his soul. He's had about 450 some odd stitches ear from ear, zigzagged formation underneath his hair. But he's doing well. I'm proud of my boy. So we had him, and well, guess what? Whoopee! We ended up having another one back to back. She got pregnant immediately. I was like, holy crap, holy crap! And she had the baby, but my other daughter, her name was Donna Lauren Faith, right? And there was no icky at that time, but I'll get to that point. But when she pushed her out, and I stood there for each birth of my children, 12 hours on my feet, and 12 hours of watching her push. Oh my goodness, watching her push for 12 hours. And, so I was just like, thinking to myself, wow. It's like, one sec, a little bit of touch, okay. Anyhow, when she came out, immediately I saw that she had the problem, the craniosynostosis. I was like, oh my God. At that point, I believe their doctor, pediatrician at Bayview Medical Centers, where they were born. The pediatrician, I believe, was Dr. Firetruck or something of that nature. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God. So we contacted Hopkins again, and Dr. Carson Jackson and several other colleagues. I mean, there was several people who did surgery on them, but they were astonished because it happened back to back in one family. Never happened again. That ever happened before. Never. And it was like I said, the first that would happen to somebody would be one out of 100,000 people or whatever, give or take. And it happened back to back in our family. I mean, wow. I had to sit there through post op and, operation. I mean, not operation, but, well, yeah. When I went back and they put him to sleep for a minute and put him at rest before the surgery, and we sat in the waiting room for all that time. I was doing word searches or whatever, and I went through, oh my God, a lot. We sat at the hospital and everything, and this and that, and whatever. Surgeries, and then, all the procedures. And, even in the beginning, they were in the NICU because of the issue. And James, he had jaundice. I'm going to put it out there. That's my boy, but he got better. Faith, she was a little tiny little bugger, but she was cute. I love my little baby, my little princess. Daddy loves you, baby. Anyhow, to get to the point here, surgeries and all that, and got to the point where I was still working at the place called Zanino's Catering. I did that 2 years, and I made a conscious decision to start drinking alcohol, and that's where the story gets a little bit more of a twist. I worked it there, and then I met my Uncle Ed, before he passed away. Lord bless his soul. And I worked at Zanino's for, I believe, two years. And she and I, were doing okay. And I got my license. I was driving this and that. We went places and all this good stuff. But we moved from Colgate to Essex to a place called Glen Manor. And well, let's put it this way. After finding out that she was pregnant with James and Faith, and believe it or not, we were sitting in Fuddruckers in Baltimore City, talking. I was eating a pounder burger before we even had James, and I was like, I had an umbrella. Rained that day. And I was like, you know what? I'm sitting there. I was like, we're thinking, you want a baby? Bam. We end up, I left the umbrella. I tailed it back, and that's how we ended up with James. So, I mean, Faith was a quick thing, too. Like, when she came out, I mean, they're what they call Irish twin, I believe it is. They're a year apart. I mean, well, they're a year and a day apart, to be honest with you, but close enough, right? All right, anyhow, I take a job, and I leave Assessor Sheet Metal. I mean, after living there during the moment when we had Hurricane Katrina that came through in Baltimore, and around that time, and my uncle, he says, hey, you want to join construction work? And I was like, yeah. So I became a HVAC worker for a company called Team Mechanical LLC. We moved to Glen Manor, and I still, I'm a heavier drinker, and I have involvement of family members around me, and my anxiety kicks in, and my trust started to get a little bit wonky, and she and I, she still loved me to death, and I was like, I was under the impression while I was working sometimes that she was playing around on me, cheating, and I was watching her like a hawk, and I guess because I was under the influence of alcohol a lot, and I guess I was a bit aggressive, and maybe it was verbal at that point, or I know that it became a point where it was physical, and something I'm not proud of. And my mom did not raise me like that. She did not raise me like that at all. And Lord bless her soul. And thank you, Mom, for how you raised me. And alcohol, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a bitter, bitter, bitter pill. I mean, trust me, if you can take a minute and step away from that can or the bottle, go to AA. Take the option of help if you can. And if you see somebody struggling like that, and you love them, and like I say it all the time, majority rules, especially in the state of Maryland, when it comes to family members, get in on them, help them, save their life. Anyhow, like I said, it was a little bit physical, this and that, and she wanted to stick around with me all that time. And then I was traveling, I was working in between DC, Baltimore, Virginia. I mean, I was traveling, I was doing a lot of things. I mean, I would get out, you know, work, and I'd hit the Beltway in 95 and all that, and had to get back. And I was like, you know what? I mean, she ended up leaving me because of the alcohol and the aggression that I was putting out. Me thinking about she was cheating and all this, and this is my part and my fault on this one. So I'm throwing my side out there. But there's always two sides to a story. I know I wasn't completely the only one that was wrong in this case and matter, but we're gonna put it out there like that. But lesson learned. Throughout the fact of me being with her, and I was being physically aggressive, or with my hands or my verbal, and because of the alcohol, and I could have been more of a man up and actually said, you know what, no, that's cool. But deep side inside of me, I'm gonna tell you, because I was so confused and out of it because of the alcohol, I, inside me it was dying and telling myself, I love her. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing? Anyhow, she left me the one time. I started going clubbing. I started going to bars every night. I started hanging out with the wrong people, and everything like that. And it's like, this and that, whatever. So I would say about it, maybe 3, 4 months later went by, and eventually she and I did get back together. She moved from Essex over to a place called Halethorpe, with her family at that particular time. I still had my job at Team Mechanical LLC, but then I was like, I did that for a while, and then I lost that job, and I was unemployed. But I was still drinking. I still didn't learn my lesson from drinking. I would sit at the bar every night before getting back with her, and I would sit there at a place called My Friend's Bar off of Top Marlin Avenue at one time. I would sit there with my Bacardi 151 and Coke, and I would sing a song by 3 a.m. by Matchbox 20. Would come across, I would just sing it. And I was singing it, and I was thinking about her, and I was taking that straw, and I was counterclock turning that straw back in that cup. As I was singing it, thinking about her, wishing I could rewind time. It was a bit difficult, but time wasn't rewinding. I'm not gonna lie. There was a moment when I was sitting in a club. Somebody offered me cocaine. I didn't shoot it, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna break it down for you. Never will I smoke crack, and never will I put a needle up in my arm. But I was under the influence of alcohol and went out to a parking lot with the dude, and literally, I think 3 cars down were police officers in Baltimore County, and I sat in that car with him and I snorted cocaine at the club, and they didn't even realize it. And I got to the point where in '05, I did when I did all that running around too, alcohol again and influences of other substance possessed me to get behind the wheel of a car in '05, coming out of My Friend's bar, and I'm going down Marlin Avenue, and it must have been about 27 cop cars or something. I mean, it might be a little bit less. I might be a little exaggerate, but there was a helicopter too, literally chasing to me. And I had Alpines, JBLs in my '91 Buick Skylark, and I'm like, huh. I couldn't hear nothing. I'm listening to 3 6 Mafia, Stay Fly, and I'm playing fly. And I look up and I see them. I like get out, and they're not too aggressive with me, but I'm making them laugh because hysterically. And I sat in holding cell that night, and I uh I lost my license and I had to get a paper to because of DUI and all that. But I cried that night because I thought I lost everything. I was gonna lose my whole family. I was young, but I wasn't scared of being locked up. And people there respect me, and they were like, "Dude, you're a pretty straight dude." I don't know what I did that night. People were like, "Damn, he's straight. You're straight dude." That's just how I roll. And I'm not weak at all, not frail. I handle my money. Anyhow, I get back to we move over to Lansdowne, and I move in with her mom and her dad, and we're staying there, and we have one room, and things are hunky dory and all that, doing well. I'm still not alcohol free though, but things are going better. I'm away from the situation, I feel a little bit more comfortable, and so we end up moving over in a place called Rambo Court, Riverview Townhomes off of Hollands Ferry Road in Lansdowne. And we stayed there for a while, and I was under depression still again because I was heavily drinking. And I was working a lot for a company called Sessa Sheet Metal at that particular time. Her mother got me a job, and then the president of that company is Paul Silvestri, and it's located in Highlandtown off of Haven Street, zip code 21224, I believe it is. Yeah. Anyhow, I worked there for, oh my God, numerous years, but I still had aggression with drinking alcohol and all that. And I just it was crazy to the point where it's like, uh, her and I, with the aggression and my physical attributes, kicked back in. I was under the impression that she was cheating and all that. So, to be honest with you, she left me again. I'm gonna cut this one right here, and this is part 1. Stick around, you want part 2, it's coming.